So we tend to focus on ideas that are more about the lifestyle rather than the delayed gratification. And a lot of times we have to block out mainstream sources like news outlets, and because they're all promoting ideas that are contrary to what we actually live and believe and what actually makes sense for us and what makes us happy. So why would we inundate ourselves with all of this, what is to us false information? It may not be information that we cannot use, and it's just not useful. Hey, welcome back to our Retire Early lifestyle, where we encourage people to get off that treadmill now and live the lifestyle that makes you happy right now. No delayed gratification here. Stick around, got some Whoppers for you. Hang around. And we also talk about all things that affect that lifestyle, especially this day and age with everything that's been happening the last few years. And we've been world travelers for the last 12 years. Prior to that, we were homesteaders, and then we were travel trailer vagabonds with children when it wasn't even popular to do such a thing in the USA. And so what that tells you is that in order to have the life that you really want, you really have to want it. It has to be a priority. Otherwise, people get sucked in to the delayed gratification model because there's so much of a push. There's so many things every day in life that are constantly pushing at you and enticing you to put your life aside. Like what? Like, buy this wonderful car, just make payments, buy all this housing, which a lot of people can't, are just the affordability of housing has gotten ridiculous, but things are changing. And, housing is coming down now. I know that a lot of people think that the price of houses is getting out of hand. What's really happening is that your fiat currency is getting devalued more and more. And we talk a lot about that in our videos. We call it evil money. It's evil money because it's uneven weights and measures. And I know that you've heard people say money is not evil and money is not good, it's neutral. And in the sense of its utility, that's true. But what's evil is calling something money that isn't real money. You see, real money holds its value. False money, which is to say uneven weights and measures, which is in the ancient scriptures, we are told that God hates uneven weights and measures. And what is fiat currency if it's not uneven weights and measures, when you can print up as many pieces of paper as you want, and a 1,000 euro note just costs a couple of pennies to print. And then when they get to their CBDC thing, it's going to be even cheaper, but worse, because now they'll be able to track everything you do with it, unlike a cash note or a piece of paper note. So, but getting on with our Whoppers, I'm just seeing so many videos. I mean, they're just getting so much traction. Things like how to leave the USA ASAP. Now, how does that sound? It used to be if you said something like that in the past, you sounded like somebody with a problem. Oh, well, what's wrong with him? He's got the law after him or something, But now it's in vogue to say how to leave the USA ASAP, as if the only thing you got to do is jump off the USA and why, that's it, you're done. Good luck with that idea, by the way. How to leave the USA ASAP. Is that something anybody really needs a video? I mean, just grab your bag, get on a plane, right? Never mind, though, that the WHO, the evil dictators in the WHO have repeatedly said that they want to institute their communist enslavement globally, which is to say that they want to ground everyone, unless, of course, you go along with their communist enslavement and let them do whatever they want to you, whenever they want, just so you can do what you normally have the freedom and the right to do, which is to say, travel. Never mind all that, though. We'll just skip all of that and ignore it as if it isn't there in the background happening, and we'll just pretend it isn't there, and we'll just tell people that how to leave the USA ASAP. And another video title I saw, that these videos get millions of views. Listen to this, 10 countries, quote unquote, everyone is retiring to in 2023. Everyone. Now, if that doesn't get you to click, and that's the challenge this day and age, getting information that's actually useful and factual. And we can sit around and engage in fantasy. I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's going abroad is fantasy. I'm just saying that if we go abroad, we need to know that this is what's really happening, and then we need to know the facts, and then we need to know what are we going to do about it. Because I see a lot of people, like even in Mexico, that come here on these groups. They're like deer caught in headlights. They're like, I was asked for a vax card today for my children. Well, yeah, it's global. It's global. And the sooner you accept that it's global, the sooner you'll accept that there are forces of evil which belong to the party of liars that need to be put in their place, and they need to be put in their place in the proper way by telling them what the law is and what real law is, and that their lies isn't law. Moving on to the next Whopper. I got some Whoppers for you, stick around. Let's take a look at this Whopper. I'll tell you, the psychology of crowds. It's like when the stock market has done nothing but go almost straight up. All right, maybe not straight up. But ever since, 2013 to 2022, that's a long time. I mean, that's a big bull market with pretty much most of the time it going, there was some pullbacks, but most of the time you could pretty much just buy the stock market and, almost be guaranteed that it was going to go up, except for the crash in 2000. And then you had the crash in 87. So you have these long bull markets, and you have some people that said, well, that 1987 crash, I was looking at the chart just the other day, and that was like a one-day crash, and then the stock market just went higher. And so you had people that were all throughout the last few decades were saying, yeah, we didn't sell, we just stuck it out, and everything has worked out. But now what we've got going on is a stock market that has been languishing, and it's been languishing for months, and there's no end in sight because of geopolitical conditions. If you understand the geopolitical conditions, a lot of people, what I'm trying to say here in a nutshell, a lot of people are stuck with the mantras they've been told over and over and over. This is what people do because we live in the quote-unquote information age, so it's really convenient for us to go to like groups, here and there on social media, and we see the same principles being parroted over and over and over, like time in the market, not timing the market. Those kinds of things have worked, but now we're seeing a stock market that is languishing. This is no one-day crash and then higher. It's just languishing and languishing, and I'm saying that people are going to be unpleasantly surprised if they hold on to, I'm a guy that evaluates probabilities. And to me, if something has been going up for 30, 40 years, the probabilities are that, coupled with the fact that we have the present geopolitical conditions, that the probabilities are that it won't keep doing what it has been doing. So that's my point in a nutshell. And I think a lot of people are going to be, unfortunately, unpleasantly surprised that we're hoping to be able to use the stock market going forward. Now that may change once this geopolitical, and I say geopolitical, once this global dark cloud, this global cancer gets lifted and is pushed back, perhaps we'll see a change in the stock market. But perhaps we are turning the corner of a new era when the stock market is not really going to be tied to the lives of free people. Think about it. I think that when things are going well, people tend to kind of jump on that train. They get on that gravy train and everything sounds good, it looks good, and it's been happening for so long that people don't really have much of a history of it not working. And let's just say the fathers of people in the movement, people that retired in the early 90s, you've got them, they're still around, and they're telling you, well, we never sold and everything has worked out. So why wouldn't you believe that going forward the same thing was going to happen? Whatever your take on that is, it really doesn't matter to the stock market. The stock market does its own thing, and it doesn't matter what we say, what you say, or what we believe and what anybody believes. The stock market is going to do what it's going to do, and it's pretty clear already what it is doing at the beginning of this decade. But moving on. So here's what stands out to me this week. Is she a prime minister of Italy?
She's the
Giorgia Meloni made this month Family Month, which is an amazing move on her part and is actually long overdue, and is actually overdue in just about everywhere on the globe. It needs to be done, even here in Mexico. I'm surprised I haven't heard of it. Perhaps this idea will catch on. But my thoughts are that people don't need Giorgia Meloni. People can move forward and occupy every day with what is good and with what makes sense based on what is good and what is true and not what is a lie. So, and speaking of which, I always like to say this channel is about the lifestyle. What we say is, we don't believe in the traditional employment until retirement age and then retire. Even though we ourselves we've been traveling the world for a dozen years now. We're getting up there into retirement age, but yet we've been living the retire early lifestyle, which is what we encourage people to do, because that's what we've been doing ever since our late 20s and early 30s. And so instead of living a life of delayed gratification until waiting until a certain date or what have you, we encourage people to incorporate certain principles within their life which tend to be contrary to what is taught and encouraged in the mainstream. It's like you see these ideas perpetrated in the mainstream all the time, and it's why we don't. I know that the guy here we're renting from said, "You don't watch TV?" I said, "No, I haven't. We haven't watched TV in, 35 years. It's just something that we figured out is not productive, and we started to, I don't even like that word productive. When I say productive, I don't mean from an employment point of view. I mean from a lifestyle point of view. I'm very jealous of my time, and I'm very careful about whose thoughts, ideas, and opinions I allow to enter my mind." It's like if you had this great lifestyle that you were happy, where you every day, and I'm not saying it has to be anything that you have to impress others. The only people you have to impress is yourself. You have to be the one that's happy. So we tend to focus on ideas that are more about the lifestyle rather than the delayed gratification. And a lot of times we have to block out mainstream sources like news outlets, and because they're all promoting ideas that are contrary to what we actually live and believe and what actually makes sense for us and what makes us happy. So why would we inundate ourselves with all of this, what is to us false information? It may not be false information for somebody else if that's what they believe in and that's what they want to do. But for us, to us, it's information that we cannot use, and it's just not useful. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these Whoppers. Let me know your thoughts on that.